Hey, I'm Ross from Ross Graham Photography, and today we will be talking about InShot. InShot's a great solution for a free video editing program right on your phone. Let's get started. Okay, so when you first open InShot, generally it will ask you for permission to take photos, save photos, all of that. Just give it all permission for access to your photo so that you can use it for editing purposes. I have used InShot before, so it is not asking me. I am also using an iPad for this tutorial, but it will look the same for Android users, iPhone users. It's just easier for me on an iPad because it's a bigger screen. So you'll start by creating new video here. It will ask you what video clips you'd like to use for this video, and so for me, I am selecting all of these Waterloo clips, just like that, and hit the OK button, and this will plop you right in to the general InShot browser. So it put all of my clips. You can see this bar down here where it's prompting me to select. You can scroll using this and see that it put all of my clips in a row. One easy way when you're first starting out to change the order of your clips is if you just tap and hold in the timeline. It gives you this option to swap around different clips, and so I can put clips wherever I want them, move them all over the place, stuff like that. And then just tap to get out of that. So before I start editing, one thing that I want to make sure to do is, if you look at the bottom right of the corner of the screen, it's got the little InShot icon. And so because we don't pay for it, this pops up automatically every time. It's really easy to get rid of though. It's got a little X, so you tap the little X and then remove this once for free. Now you can do this as many times as you want, but you have to make sure to remove the watermark every single time you start a new video. So that watermark is gone. We can begin our editing. First things first, this is a square video, which is totally fine if we want to go that direction. I want it to be a different dimension. And so I'm going to go into Canvas on the far left side of the tools. And I'm going to change it to 16 by 9, which is just the general YouTube, TV, all of those use this size. You can also, if I go back into Canvas, you can make it TikTok shape, you can make it iPhone size, whatever you'd like. In this canvas, you can also go to backgrounds, and you can change the background. This is mostly useful when you're doing TikToks. You can, make it whatever color you want, or you make it a fun emojis or whatever you want like that. But I, like I said, am using the 16 by 9 frame, and so I will not be needing to do that background edit. Okay, so as for editing video, InShot makes it really smooth and easy. If you've ever used a video editor before, like Windows Movie Maker or iMovie or anything like that, it's just about as simple. If I tap on a clip, it'll give me the option to trim, which you can see here. So I can trim this clip, make it as short or as long as I want from both sides. I want to trim so that I can't see that doorway in this shot, so right there. So let's say I want this short clip of just that little bit of motion, maybe a little bit longer on the front end. So once I trim a clip, the next thing that I'll generally do is color grade or add a filter. And so you can see the little tools. You've got this filter button. And under filter, you've got a couple different options. So there are some effects. Only the colored effects are free, so a lot of these are paid effects. But if I wanted to add a glitch effect like that, it's kind of cool. I generally don't do those until the very end if I'm going to do them at all. And so for now, let's just go to filter. Under filter, you can select any of these free filters. The colored ones are paid for. The black ones are all free. I just might go with this bright one, and so after that, you can select the percentage that it affects the film, as you can see. Or instead of doing that, you can always just go to adjust, and then adjust gives you all of the options that you'd have in any video editor. You've got your lightness, your contrast, warmth, tint, all the way across the board. There's lots of different options. This gets a little bit more complicated, but you can do whatever you want with the footage from this adjust tab. So let's just make a few quick adjustments to make our footage look really film-like is what I'm going for. So maybe like that. Cool, so once you've made your adjustments, once you've made your adjustments, you can hit the check mark on the far right to apply it to this clip, or these two checks on the far left will apply to all clips. And so generally, when you're putting together a film, you want all the clips to look very similar, and so I might add this color grading to all of them by hitting the two check marks, and then apply to all. So now all of them will look very similar because of their color grading, which is really nice for just a unity effect. So that is it. I'm going to hit check mark. I'm going back to my main timeline. As it's showing here, you can pinch to zoom in and out of timeline, which is really helpful when you get into smaller clips. The next thing you might want to do is you might want to add some text layers. And so if I tap on the text tool here, it'll let me put in any random text that I want. And then I can move that around, resize it. I can also select the text and make it a different font, something like that, change the color. Also, they have these effects here, which are applying to the text layer itself. So I might want it to fade in or fade out, or expand. I'm really liking the expand one. You can also change the speed like this. Make it quick, make it long. And then when you go back to your timeline, you can actually adjust on the timeline where the text goes. So it doesn't have to associate with a certain clip. See, it starts on the first clip and goes to the second clip. It's completely separate. So for now, we're just going to delete that, but that's how you add text layers. As for arranging clips, something that a lot of people like is transitions. And so you can see right here on this little slash mark in between, that is just a normal cut transition, meaning it just goes from one clip to another. But if you wanted that to be something different, you can tap on it. These top basic ones are free. And so you've got your fades from different sides, things like that. You've got swiping up, down to the side. And you've also got your aperture style opening. Another basic adjustment is you might want something to be in slow motion, so let's find a good clip for that. Here we go. Let's say we want this shot right here to be in slow motion, so I'm just going to trim it down like that, like that. And here's your clip the way you see it. It's pretty cool. Let's say that I want this first part of the clip to go really fast and then the second part to go really slow. One way to do this is it's really easy to divide clips. You just hit this little split button. So now I've got two separate clips. This first one I want to be really quick, right? So I want this to really zoom in and then slow motion onto the Waterloo. And so I'm gonna hit speed over here. And it actually lets you adjust speed with this simple dial. Going up to the top makes it go quicker, going down makes it go slower. So, and 1 is your original starting point. So I'm going to triple the speed of this clip. We're very close to triple right there. There we go. So now we've got a very quick slide in. And that already is looking really good. Look at that. Slaps in there really quick. But then I want this clip to be even slower. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to cut it in half. Like that. So now it goes very quickly and then slows down to the Waterloo, which is one of the coolest effects. Once you've got your footage the way you want it, you might want to add some audio. So an easy way to do that is to go to music. And there's 3 different options here. You've got effects, which is just sound effects, things like that. I'm not going to be using any for this video, but you're welcome to play around with it. There are some free ones. Or you can go to tracks. And so all these tracks are things that you can use. All these tracks are things that you can use in your video. You're just supposed to give credit to the author in your description if you ever post on YouTube or anything like that. And so you can find a track pretty easily. Just hit download and then use, and it'll pop it into your timeline. You can then see it in your timeline right here, and you can trim it, move it around however you'd like. That is pretty much it for your basic InShot controls. There's a lot of other tools, a lot of other options, and with better filmmaking and more experience, you can get more complex things out of it, but that is your basic set of tools. You're done with your recording, you want to export. On Apple products, this might be different for Androids, I'm not actually entirely sure, but with Apple products, there's this little send button in the top right. So if you do that, you can save it. You want to set your frame rate, should be fine. Resolution should be fine. If you want to change those, you can there. Hit save, and it'll save it. As long as you've given it permission, it'll save it right to your camera roll. And then from your camera roll, you can send it out however you'd like. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, hit subscribe, or smash it if you like. That's a thing that people do, I guess, on YouTube. So hit subscribe. There'll be more tutorial videos on the way.